I, Anshita Sadhav, welcome you all to Guru Parampara Yog Sansthan. Today is the first session of Bhagavad Gita. Before I start, I would like to express my gratitude towards Kaushal sir, for giving me this opportunity, and not only me, giving us all this opportunity, a wonderful opportunity to learn such a beautiful and epic scripture. Also, I thank you, everyone who's attending this session, for showing interest in learning Bhagavad Gita. And I wish you all luck, best of luck for your journey in the next few months for UG NET exam. And lastly, I would like to ask for forgiveness from everyone while explaining Bhagavad Gita. If I go wrong anywhere, please, I apologize for that in advance, because it's a scripture with great meaning, with deep meaning. And if at all, while explaining, if I go wrong somewhere or if I fall short, in advance, I would like to ask forgiveness from everyone. We will start this session. You can all see the screen. Just let me know with a thumbs up or unmute, and just let me know if you can see the screen. Very good. Thank you so much. Okay. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is in our paper 2, unit 2. Approximately 4 questions from Bhagavad Gita comes for UGC NET, and whatever we are going to learn over here, it is only from the exam point of view. We are not going to learn the entire Bhagavad Gita in depth because it cannot be learned in few days. Okay, so please understand whatever portion or whatever is there in the syllabus which is related to the syllabus, we are going to cover only that part. And it's a beautiful scripture. Bhagavad Gita is tells you how to live life, what you are, how you are. Okay, so I would request everyone not to miss the session. Okay, if you don't understand anything from a particular topic that I'm teaching, okay, you can just raise your hand, then unmute and ask. If the question can wait till the end of the session, please wait till the end of the session, and then we will have a question answer session in the last 5 to 10 minutes, and you can ask me the question then. Okay, so let's start. First, we will learn the basic history, okay, of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so the epic war of Kurukshetra, Bhagavad Gita is set during that war. Now we all
Ma'am, your mic is mute.
so much. I'm not so used to technology, so please, if there's any shortfall, please adjust. Thank you so much. So this war, which was fought between Pandavas and Kauravas, that was fought on the battlefield where we called as Kurukshetra. Now Pandav, they were led by Arjun, and it is said that Pandav, they represent justice or rightful inheritance. Whatever is right, we fight for that. So here in Bhagavad Gita, Pandavas, they represent the rightfulness, and Kaurav, they represent the greed or the unrightness or the falseness that we experience even in our day-to-day life. So when we are relating or when we are talking about Pandav and Kaurav, let's relate it to our life also. So there are some things in our life that seem to be right, and there are times we feel that it is injustice. So whenever we see injustice, it is like Kaurav, and where there is justice, okay, we can relate it to Pandavas. Now, Gita occurs at a critical moment before the battle begins. So everybody is ready to fight the war. And the war is just going to start. At that time, it is said that Bhagavad Gita, the recitation, or you can say the explanation, or Bhagavad Gita, it starts. Now this war, it continued for 18 days. Now Arjun, we will first understand the background and then we will come to the syllabus. Arjun's dilemma. As the battle approaches, Arjun, who is a great warrior of Pandav, he is dejected. He is very sad because he is reluctant to fight with his relatives. In front of him, there are his teachers, his friends, his cousins, his, like you can say, entire family and friends whom he has known for his entire life. Everyone is standing in front of him, and he is supposed to fight with them. And that is where Arjun's mind is in conflict. And hence, he is very sad and is dejected because that is not what he wanted. Arjun wanted justice, but for that justice, he didn't want to fight with his own people, people from whom he had thought were his own, with whom he grew up. There were some who taught him how to fight, how to live life, what is justice. So all those people were in front of him. So Arjun was very sad. Now, what is Krishna's role in this? Lord Krishna was Arjun's charioteer. And Krishna is considered as the incarnation of Vishnu. Incarnation means we say that it is the avatar of Vishnu. He took birth in the form of Krishna so that he can guide us through life. And when Arjun had these doubts of fighting against his family, there was a moral dilemma what to do. At that time, Krishna encouraged him and guided him in the right way or right path, that it is his duty to fight. And that is what he called as dharma. He said, today you're going to fight for justice. It is not your friends, your relatives, your teachers, or your cousins that you're fighting with. It is the justice for which you're fighting. Now, Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, we all know, and it is authored by sage Vyas. It is a very important scripture, Bhagavad Gita. Or everything about yoga is there in Bhagavad Gita, or you can say yoga is from Bhagavad Gita. And that is why whatever chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita, each chapter, it ends with the word yoga. That is the importance of yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, it appears in Bhishma Parv. There are total 700 verses, which are divided into 18 chapters. And in Bhagavad Gita, each chapter is called as Parva. So when we refer to as how many Parvas are there in Bhagavad Gita, then that means we are asking about chapters. So there are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. And every Parva is given a name based on the main subject or the main person about whom it is discussed in that particular Parva. So when you want to remember, when you are studying for the exam, remember what is discussed in that chapter. Depending on that, the name is stated, or whatever is the name related to that itself, the entire chapter is based. For example, Bhishma Parv. So entire Parva is on Bhishma, then Shanti Parv. Now, Bhagavad Gita is also called as Smriti Prasthan of Vedant Darshan. We know Shruti, Smriti, Prasthan. Okay. So why not Shruti Prasthan? So Shruti is something that we hear. Okay. Which is heard. Which is authored, or which is said by God, and we are listening to it, or not we, but the sages are listening to it, or they hear it when they are meditating. At that time, whatever God speaks to them, the sages, they hear it. And that is called as Shruti Prasthan. And what is Smriti Prasthan is, which is remembered. okay, that they remember, okay, and someone writes it. So that is called as Smriti Prasthan. So Bhagavad Gita is Smriti Prasthan, which is very important. Please remember this. Okay, I'm going to share this, these notes, but I would suggest that when we are in the session, please write it in your own words also. When you write it, you remember it very well. So in short, please write whatever I'm telling you is important or whatever you feel is important and you want to write it down from exam point of view. Now, Bhagavad Gita was given it was given an independent recognition by Adi Shankar, who wrote Bhashya on Gita. And from Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya, there were 20 classical commentaries that were written on Bhagavad Gita. It is considered as the most important Hindu text, even today, after so many years. It is regarded as a Yoga Shastra scripture which deals with yoga as well as Moksha Shastra. That means Bhagavad Gita, it tells us about yoga as well as how to attain moksha. Both the things are told in Bhagavad Gita. Now, from exam point of view, there are 3 definitions of yoga. I will correct it over here. There are 3 main definitions of yoga that have come across. I have put it together for you to understand it. So what are those definitions? Samatva yoga uchyate. That means yoga is equanimity. Equanimity means what? Means, in simple language, means being balanced, being at peace. That is yoga. And that is told in the 2nd chapter in 48th shlok. So you have to remember from exam point of view this number, okay, 2.48. So if in exam it comes Samatvam Yoga Uchyate is from which chapter, then you have to select the correct option, 2.48. In the answer section, it could come 2.15, 16, 48, 60, whatever. So you have to remember exactly 2.48. Then second definition is yoga karmasu kaushalam. That means yoga is skill in action. That means yoga means karma. That is what they are telling. We'll learn more about it later, but here you just have to remember yoga karmasu kaushalam is in 2nd chapter and the shlok number is 50. So 2.50. The third definition is yogo bhavati dukkha. Yoga becomes the destroyer of miseries. It is 6.17. Okay, that is another definition. Fourth is tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sanjitam. Detachment from the miseries caused by attachments is known as yoga. That means we are attached to worldly objects, materialistic objects. This is mine, that is mine. I want this, I want that, which leads us to misery. We are unhappy because of that. Now, being detached from all these things, detachment from the miseries. So being detached from the materialistic objects will take you away from misery. You will not suffer. And that is yoga. So the chapter is 6th chapter and the shlok is 23rd. So dukkha sanyoga vinyog. It is in which chapter? It is in 6th chapter, 23rd shlok. So these are the main definitions that you have to remember: 2.48, 2.50, 6.17, and 2.23. These definitions, they always, mostly they come in every exam. So remember the Sanskrit part of it, the Sanskrit shlok as well as the shlok number. Then let's move ahead. Mahabharat. In Mahabharat, there are 18 chapters. Now, out of these 18 chapters, where is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is in Bhishma Parva. There are 18 parvas, and out of 18 parvas, 6th parva is Bhishma Parva. Then, in Bhishma Parva, that means in the 6th chapter, where is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is from 23rd to 40th chapter of Bhishma Parva. You have to remember all these things. So please note it down. Okay. Mahabharat. In Mahabharat, there are 18 chapters, or we call it as Parva. Now, out of these 18 chapters or 18 Parvas, 6th chapter is Bhishma Parva. And in Bhishma Parva, Bhagavad Gita is from 23rd to 48th chapter. This is very important. You can just write it down in your own words, however you want to write, but you need to learn this and know this by heart. Now, whatever we have learned till now, we will just revise it in short. Author of Bhagavad Gita, Sage Vyas. He's also called as Ved Vyas or Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas. Okay, any of these names come, it is the same. So, who wrote Bhagavad Gita? Sage Vyas, Ved Vyas, or Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas. It was written by Sri Ganesh. Okay, so it was told by Vyas and it was written by Sri Ganesh. Geeta, what does Geeta mean? Geeta means to sing. So Bhagavad Gita means a song of God. It's one of the Prasthantraya. Okay, we know Prasthantraya. Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, and Upanishad. These three are the Prasthantraya, and out of these, Bhagavad Gita is one of them. This is also something that you need to remember. Which are the three Prasthantraya? Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, and Upanishad. Now, discussion. The main discussion is between King Dhritarashtra and Sanjay. And within that discussion, the entire Bhagavad Gita, okay, the discussion is between Sri Krishna and Arjun. Arjun is in dilemma, he is asking questions, and Bhagwan Sri Krishna is answering his questions. Then, total parvas in Mahabharata, there are 18 parvas, or you can say 18 chapters. I have summarized everything over here in one chart so that it will be easy for you to remember. Now, Bhishma Parva. In Bhishma Parva, there are in all 122 chapters. Now, Bhishma Parva describes the first 10 days of the total 18-day battle. So out of the 18 days battle that was fought in Kurukshetra, in Bhishma Parva, only 10 days are described. Only 10 days are described in Bhishma Parva. And Bhishma Parva is the 6th Parva out of 18 Parvas of Mahabharata. In Bhishma Parva, Bhagavad Gita, it starts from 23rd chapter and ends at 40th chapter. How many verses are there? There are 700 verses or shlokas, you can say. Now, the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita is of Dhritarashtra. So it starts from Dhritarashtra Uvacha. So if the question comes, okay, who said the first shlok, or the first shlok is about whom? So it is said, you have to answer it as Dhritarashtra. And the last shlok is of Sanjay, and then Gita, Bhagavad Gita, it ends. In this, Sri Krishna's shlokas are total 574. So whatever knowledge that Bhagavan Shri Krishna is giving, they are giving, it is in 574 shlokas. Arjun's shloka is 84, Sanjay 41, and Dhritarashtra only 1. That means Dhritarashtra shlok. The first shlok of Bhagavad Gita starts with Dhritarashtra asking the question to Sanjay, and that is the only shlok of Dhritarashtra in entire Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so here I have summarized whatever we have learned till now. Then let's move ahead. Distribution of 18 chapters. We have to understand these 18 chapters. So to understand them in a better way, we have distributed it in 3 parts. So first 6 chapters is on Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga has been told in the first 6 chapters, mostly Nishkam Karma Yoga. It is all about that. Then from 7th to 12th chapter, it's on Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga has been discussed and described, where it is said that complete Bhakti Yoga is about complete surrender to God, complete devotion towards God. So that is discussed from 7th chapter to 12th chapter. And from 13th to 18th chapter is Gyan Yoga, or you can say Sankhya Yoga. So these are the 3 bifurcations. You need to remember this also. The first 6 chapters is on Karma Yoga. Then the next 6 chapters, Bhakti Yoga. And the last 6 chapters, they are Gyan Yoga. Now, 18 chapters in short. What is there in these 18 chapters? Let's understand in short the topics that are covered in these chapters. In exam, they ask the name of the chapter, then also the shlok, how many shlokas are there in that particular chapter, and also you should know what topics are covered, so that if at all a question comes in it, you will be able to answer. Arjun, first chapter or first adhyay is Arjun Vishad Yoga. That means Arjun is, Vishad means Arjun is dejected or despondent. Okay, he is very sad. First chapter is Arjun Vishad Yoga. And what is discussed in this? That the war is about to begin. Arjun with Krishna is there in his chariot. The war is in Kurukshetra is going to begin. And at that time, whatever happens, everything has been told in the first chapter. So in the first chapter, this war is going to begin. So the description of that, and Arjun is dejected. So why is he dejected? What is he feeling? What is the state of his mind? Has been described in the first chapter. And number of shlokas, 47 shlokas. Second chapter is Sankhya Yoga, in which nature of Atma or soul, we call it Swarup also. So nature of Atma or soul is discussed here. Very important topic, that is Sthita Prajna. Who is Sthita Prajna? What are the qualities of a Sthita Prajna that have been described? And 2 important definitions of yoga, which we saw previously in 2.48 and 2.50. They have been discussed here. There are 72 shlokas in this chapter. Karma Yoga. Third chapter is Karma Yoga, where Karma Yoga has been discussed here, and the number of shlokas are 43. Fourth chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyas Yoga. In this chapter, what is discussed is how did yoga reach the common people? Different types of karma. Then yajna and pranayam. These topics have been discussed in the 4th adhyay, and there are 42 shlokas in this adhyay. Next chapter, That is the 5th chapter is Karma Sannyas Yoga. Sannyas, what is sannyas and what is required for it? That is discussed. Number of shlokas at 29. 6th Adhyay, Atma Sanyam Yoga. Here again, very important topic is discussed. That is Yoga Root Sadhak, one who has attained to yoga. That has been described. Place and asan for practice. So if a person wants to practice yoga, he wants to progress on the path or walk on the path of yoga, then how should be the place? How should be his posture, his position? Everything has been described over here. And Dhyan Yoga is discussed. 47 shlokas in the 6th chapter. 7th chapter is Gyan Vigyan Yoga, where Prakriti and Vikriti is discussed. Nature of Brahma is discussed here. 4 types of bhakta or devotees are discussed. There are 30 shlokas in this adhyaya. 8th chapter is Akshar Brahma Yoga, as is the state of mind during our last breath. So is the progress of path. It's a beautiful adhyaya where Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells us that just before our last breath or just before our death, whatever is the state of mind, if we are at peace, if we are restless, if we are angry, if we are sad, whatever is the state of our mind, depending on that state, our further journey depends. So we should be very careful what state of our mind is always. There are 28 shlokas in this adhyaya. 9th adhyaya, Rajvidya, Rajguhya Yoga, where Ishwar Puja and again very important topic, Yog Kshem is discussed. 34 shlokas. Vibhuti Yoga, different types of vibhutis have been discussed, that by practicing or working or being completely devoted to God, working on the path of yoga, whatever Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells us, a yogi or a practitioner, he attains different vibhutis. So what are those vibhutis? Those vibhutis have been discussed here, and the number of shlokas are 42. 11th Adhyay, Vishwarup Darshan Yoga. There are 55 shlokas in this. The entire nature of whatever is around us, about this Vishwa, about this universe is discussed over here. 12th Adhyay is Bhakti Yoga, nature of Bhakti. We are devoted to Bhagwan, Lord, but how is our thought process? What is the nature of Bhakti? There are different types of Bhaktis also which were discussed. So all those types of Bhakti have been discussed in this adhyaya, and the shlokas are 20. 13th adhyaya, Kshetra, Kshetradnya Yoga. Difference between Kshetra and Kshetradnya is discussed over here. And Gyan, Agyan. Very important topic. What is Gyan and what is Agyan? That has been discussed over here. We don't understand at times the difference between what is Gyan and what is Agyan. So Bhagwan has explained it very beautifully in this chapter. There are 34 shlokas in this chapter. 14th chapter is Gunatraya Vibhagayo, where the nature of different gunas. We know there are 3 gunas, Sattva, Raja, and Tama. So they are discussed in detail in this adhyaya, and there are 27 shlokas in this adhyaya. 15th adhyaya is Purushottam Yoga, where people tree is given, the universe or the entire world is described like a tree, a people tree. And that is how it has been explained very beautifully. The shlokas are 20 in this adhyaya. 16th adhyaya is Daivasur Sampad Vibhagayo. where Daivi Sampada and Asuri Sampada have been discussed. Again, a very, very important chapter. 24 shlokas. 17th Adhyay, Shraddhatraya, Vibhaga, Yog. So, three types, that is Trividha Ahar, three types of Ahar. Then, Tav, Yagya, and Dan. Okay, so there are three types of all these things. Okay, so that is discussed in this chapter, and there are 28 shlokas. 18th Adhyay, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, last chapter. That's why it's about moksha, nature of sannyas, and renunciation. That means tyag is discussed over here. Trivid Gyan and Trivid Karta is discussed over here. And there are 78 shlokas in this adhyay. So this is the basic summary of the chapters. But from exam point of view, we don't have to cover up everything from these chapters, nor do we have all the 18 chapters. So for UGC NET exam, which chapters do we have? So these are the chapters. Second, third, fourth, sixth, seventh, 12th, 13th, 14th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. So these are the chapters that we have to learn from exam point of view. From other chapters, we will definitely do certain things, but not in detail. We have to focus on these chapters from exam point of view. Now, before we begin with the first chapter, just let me know if you have understood whatever has been shared till now. Just send me a thumbs up if you have understood and if we should move ahead. Today is the first day, so we have not actually started the topic. Now it will start. So before we start, have you understood the base of what we are going to do or what we are going to learn in Bhagavad Gita? Okay. So the first chapter will start the first adhyay, that is Arjun Vishada Yoga. Vishad means Arjun is very dejected, sad, and this chapter, it describes the state of Arjun's mind. Now, important topic in the first chapter is the different Mahapurush and the count, or we say the shankha that they blow. So for exam, we need to know this and we need to learn it. So on the left side, Mahapurush, and on the right side of the table is a shankha blown by the Mahapurush. So first, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, the name of the shankha, everybody had different shankha and they used to blow it before the start of the war every day. So Bhagwan Shri Krishna's shankha, the name of it is Panchajanya. You have to remember this. Bhagwan Shri Krishna, Panchajanya. Now the name of Arjun's shankha is Devdat. Bhim is Poundra. Yudhishthir is Ananta Vijay. Nakul, Sughosh, and Sahadev, Mani Pushpak. If you read it 4-5 times, you will get it. It is not very difficult. You just have to read it again and again, you will get it. Bhagwan Shri Krishna, Panchajanya Shankh, Arjun, Devdat, Bhim, Poundra, Yudhishthir, Ananta Vijay, Nakul, Sughosh, and Sahadev is Mani Pushpak. In exam, question is asked from this, that who blew which shankha or which count. So you need to know this properly. Now, the first shlok of the first chapter, as we learned that the first shloka is of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre Samavetayu Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvat Sanjaya. So this is the first where Dhritarashtra, he asks Sanjay. Dhritarashtra, he could not see. That's why he asked Sanjay that, O Sanjay, after gathering on the holy field of Kurukshetra and desiring to fight, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? What are they doing? So, because he is not there on the battlefield, he is curious to know what is going on. He's concerned about his sons. If they are fine, if they are okay. How is it over there? Is everybody ready? So, this is the question that Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjay. Now, the war, it was inevitable. The war was going to take place, but still here, Dhritarashtra, he asks Sanjay what his sons and his brother Pandu's sons were doing in the battlefield. So it is apparent that they were going to fight. Then why did we ask such a question? We all know the story of Mahabharata, that the throne was supposed to go to Pandavas, but due to some injustice, the throne, it didn't go to them. So that is the guilt that is eating up Dhritarashtra. And being a father, no matter what, every father has a certain kind of soft corner for their children. And for the children, a father is ready to do anything. Okay, even if the kids, if they are children, they are wrong. Even if the father knows it, but still a father will always be very fond and support their children. And that is why, okay, here, Dhritarashtra's fondness for his own sons, okay, it clouded his judgment. And he took certain wrong decisions, because of which he feels guilty. Now, feeling guilty of the injustice that he had done towards the Pandavas, okay, he's worried what will be the outcome of the battle, who will win. Of course, being a father, he wanted his sons to win. Now, on the battlefield, what is happening actually is Arjun, he asks Krishna that to take his chariot to the center of the Kurukshetra so that he can see what is going on over there. How does the Kurukshetra look? So he asks Krishna, Sri Krishna, to take the chariot to the center of the war zone. And when his chariot is taken to the center, and when he looks in front of him, who is there in front of him? He feels dejected. He feels very sad, because all the people he had known from his childhood are there in front of him, and he has to fight with them, and they are going to fight with him. And though it wasn't that it was a surprise, he knew it from start. But when that time came to fight with them, then he realized the intensity of it, and he said, how can I kill my own relatives? Will I be happy if I kill my own relatives, if I kill my own guru who have taught me everything? How can I be happy by fighting with them? Because in front of him was a huge army of Kaura, where his grandfathers, his teachers, his uncles, brothers, their sons, their grandsons, his own friends, whom he knew from childhood, were standing in front of him. And then he said, my limbs fail and my mouth is parched. That means I'm feeling weak, my body is trembling. I cannot fight with them. I am sorry, but I cannot. And saying this, he kept down his bow, Gandiv, that we call it. He kept it down that I cannot fight with them. Why should I kill my own people? I don't want a victory like this where I have to kill my own people. And with this, the first chapter ends. So the description of Arjun's helplessness, his sadness, whatever was the state of his mind, whatever thoughts were coming in his mind are expressed in the first chapter. Now, in short, let's look at whatever has been told in the first chapter. From first to second, from first to 20th shlok, description of armies and the preparation of the battles is described. Then from 21st to 25th, Arjun's chariot is driven to the middle of the battlefield between the two armies. That description is there, that is discussed. From 26th to 28, looking at everyone in front of him, Arjun changes his mind, leading to detachment that we call as raga, that is discussed. From 25th to 34th, Arjun's grief on seeing what he has to do to gain victory is discussed. And from 35th to 47, Arjun's delusion, which stems from his ignorance about the true nature of oneself, that we call it as moha. He feels that whoever is standing in front of him, they are his, and he is going to kill. And that is what Lord Krishna says is moha, that is ignorance. And that ends the first chapter. Second chapter, we will start from tomorrow. Now, if anyone has questions about what we have learned today, just let me know. Or else we will do some question answers. We have just seen the base today, very basic. From tomorrow, we will actually start whatever is there in our syllabus. So if anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand and ask, or else we will move ahead with the question answers of whatever we have learned today. Okay, no questions. You can just unmute and anyone can give the answer, whoever wants, or you can raise your hand and answer. Where was the epic war of Mahabharata, that is there in Mahabharata? Where was it fought?
Kurukshetra.
Very good. Okay, how many days did this war last?
18 days.
Very good. What are the chapters in Bhagavad Gita? What are they called?
Adhyaya, Yog.
Yeah, Adhyay. How many parvas or chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita?
18.
18. There's only one person. Others can also answer. Even if you go wrong, it is fine. You will remember that, okay, this answer went wrong. It is very important. I'm telling you from my personal experience, going wrong today is very good. Going wrong when you're giving the exam is not going to help us. Okay. Now, in Vedant Darshan, what is Bhagavad Gita called?
Smruti.
Smriti Prasthana. Very good. Now, who is the author of Bhagavad Gita?
Vedavyas.
Vedvyas. Now, there are definitions of yoga that have been discussed in the second chapter. Can you tell me the shlok number of the definitions that have been discussed? Do you remember?
2.48 and 2.50.
Yeah, very good. And what is the shlok number in the sixth chapter?
617, 622.
Very good. Now, Bhagavad Gita is from which chapter out of the 16 chapters? Which parva? There are 18 parvas.
Bhishma Parva.
Sorry, 18 chapter. Sorry, Bhishma Parva. Okay. Then how many chapters are there in Bhishma Parva? Many chapters?
29 to 40.
No. How many chapters are there in Bhishma Parva? You are telling me the shlok number, that is 23rd to 40th. That is the shlokas in which, the chapters in which Bhagavad Gita is discussed. I am asking the how many chapters in all are there total in Bhishma Parva? 122 chapters. Okay, so Bhishma Parva in all has 122 chapters, and out of those 122 chapters, Bhagavad Gita is from 23rd to 40th chapter. Okay, now Karma Yoga. Okay, out of the 18 chapters, tell me in the first 6 chapters, which yoga has been discussed? Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, or Gyan Yoga?
Karma Yoga and
Karma
Jnana
Yoga.
Yoga.
Karma Yoga has been discussed in the first 6 chapters. Which yoga has been discussed in the last 6 chapters? Gyan Yoga. And which yoga is discussed from 7th to 12th chapter? Bhakti Yoga. Very good. This is very important from exam point of view. Please note it down at your end. Now, which is the largest adhyaya in Bhagavad Gita?
18th chapter.
Yes. And what is the name of that chapter?
Moksha Sannyasa Yoga.
Perfect. And which is the smallest chapter or adhyaya in Bhagavad Gita?
Bhakti Yoga. 12th chapter.
Bhakti Yoga, which is the 12th chapter. And there's one more.
15th one. Purushottam.
15th one, Purushottam Yoga. Very good. Okay. So let's end the session over there. I think ma'am has come. It's time also. Small request from the next session. Okay, if anybody can recite one shlok from Bhagavad Gita, whichever we have done or whichever you know, before we start the session, I would appreciate that, because in that way, what will happen is you will also get to read and recite, and you will remember that it in that way. You can decide your choice of shlok. If you want, you can say it without saying, or you can say it by looking also. That is fine. Different shlokas before every session.